Hello, everyone. Welcome to Authenticity and Dawn with the new Heartful Academy. Hello, Dawn. Thanks for this lovely collaboration.
Thank
Welcome.
you, Anna. Thank you, and welcome and happy Halloween to you. Do you celebrate it?
Well, I find a lot of joy in the children that come by and do the trick-or-treating. My children are grown, as we'll get into it as we discuss about our first episode. But yeah, I love watching all the kids come through
Mm.
their little costumes. I prefer the little guys, 3, 4, 5 year olds.
Yeah, they're cute. They're
So
cute.
cute. Dawn has a podcast as well. It's called the New Dawn Podcast. But we spoke before the show, and she said that it's her focus is the Heartful Academy and what you are creating there. And for
Yeah.
myself, it's purposeful life coaching and what it means to live a purposeful life. And
Mm.
so I asked Dawn, I told her I took a solo trip to Sedona, and it was, like 13, 14 hours. And on my way back, I had time to self reflect and think about how I wanted to evolve my business as a coach. And you came into my mind, Don. I was like, oh my gosh, I know someone that would be perfect for me to do a live with. And you're the one who came into my heart.
Ah, that's lovely, Anna. Thank you. This is a delight, honestly. So I'm
Oh,
excited to see where we go.
me too. Because for me, I wanted to create something because I advertised about this and marketed this episode. It's going to be a 4-part series. And I wanted it to evolve as we went along. And
Mm.
today we both decided that we wanted to start this episode with a little bit of background about who Anna Toothman is and who Don Luchit is. And I make sure that I'm saying your name correctly, Don.
Oh, Anna, if I had a penny for every time, it's lushed.
Blush.
And yeah, so you don't have to worry about all of it.
Oh,
Um, but yes, Dawn lushed. But there we go. But thank you.
Don, we said in private conversations, I said, why should someone choose Don or Anna Toothman as a coach for their
Mm,
life? Your
mm,
focus is on relationships. Mine is life in general, but wellness and spiritual and just how to manage your stress is
mhm.
my focus. And so we wanted to give you a little background. Don, why should someone choose you as their life coach there in your part of the neck of the woods?
Oh, you know what? That's a really good question. Let me tell you about how I've gone about choosing my own coaches throughout my time, because I think that's indicative of
Mm-hmm.
my process generally. I tell you what's interesting is that the people I've needed have come into my awareness somehow when I needed them. So either they were somebody I already knew, or somebody had posted something of theirs, or I was doing one of their modalities and learning about them already. There was already some connection to them that I had gone, oh, I really like their vibe, and I really like what they are talking about, when they stand for, and I feel like that person would get me. That's essentially what would start that ball rolling, because we briefly mentioned this before we started, but I use a modality in my coaching called human design. And as a projector, I'm looking for validation and to be seen and recognized by my coach. That's part of my growth process. That's part of what makes me expand and challenge myself, is if I know the person gets me. And what I have really tried to make sure in my coaching relationships with people is that the person who sat in front of me feels so seen so understood, so completely witnessed where they're at, but holding a future self or a true inner being version of themselves as the reality that we're working towards.
Mm.
And so when somebody has decided to work with me, it is normally because not only do I understand like psychology and spiritually and understand how they're put together, but I also offer the bridge of hope into, okay, this is what I want to do. This is how I want to be. This is how I want to develop. These are the kind of relationships that I want to have. And then I help make that transition, hold the hand. And what's really interesting is when I'm looking for a coach, I'm always looking for somebody who can help me retrain my neural pathways, I can imprint off of, or I can use them to help me be guided along the way, because I don't know what I don't know. So I
Mm.
know what I don't want, but what is it that I do want? Well, I know what I want, but how do you get there? And the why and the how is really where my field of expertise comes in terms of going, okay, well, from the thinking that you've got right now, you're not going to get to that place that you're going to, because it needs a shift in behaviors and thoughts and energy
Mhm.
experiences. And so by holding the hand and showing a pathway, we get there always, without question. We get there. So
Don, tell me, you have, how old is I know that you have a son. How old is your son?
yes, he's 12, and he's definitely been one of the biggest catalysts for what I do now, amongst other things. Like, obviously, I want to learn and grow from my own experiences, but I wanted to also break my own ancestral patterns and cycle break
Mhm.
for my son. It sounds like a lot of pressure, right? And on some days, it does feel like that. Um, but it meant that I wanted to have the best relationship that I could with him. And it meant me up leveling and really challenging myself and these patterns to be able to create that relationship with him.
I love that. I mean, many of us, and as a coach, I feel like that's where the opportunity came in for me as well, is maybe having these conversations with clients, understanding that there is an opportunity to break these generational and ancestral uh, looping and, some of the trauma and
Mm-hmm.
the drama that has come along over, many,
Lifetimes,
yeah,
years,
lifetimes of
centuries.
families. I was trying to find the
Yeah,
right word,
all of
but
it. It's
all
all
of
of it.
it. Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's really, I'm going to talk about my own experience.
Mm.
I'm 50, I'm about to be 53 on the 28th of November. And when
Mm.
I was around 40 years old, 39, 40, going into the 40,
Mm.
I started looking at those things that we're speaking about, reflecting on my own career choices, reflecting on my emotion well-being,
Mm.
my mental well-being, my did I have addictions?
Mm.
How was my self-worth? And why was I allowing certain behaviors and patterns in my life? And why? A lot of whys back then. And so my journey, my inner journey started around 39, 40 years. So that would have been around, 2011, 2010, or whatever. And I decided to just jump in both feet. Let's find out why some of my
Why?
behaviors were
Mm.
the way they were.
Did you have like a catalytic moment? Was there like a call to like a crisis moment that propelled you, or it was just like okay, I am constantly uncomfortable and I need to change?
Um, yeah, I would say the second half of that, it would be that I noticed that there was a lot of mirroring back. I couldn't figure out what was it that the people pleasing,
Mm.
right? Over the years, I was like, I'm trying to please everyone in my life. And I was suffering during the people pleasing.
Mm.
Then I would be in competition with myself, but others would reflect that as me being competitive with them. Or, just a lot of light bulb moments, and as the years progressed, it went to imposter syndrome. It went
Mm.
to, am I good enough? And then where do I see myself going into? And so through all this self reflection, a decade later,
That's how it goes.
it didn't
Yeah,
happen overnight
yeah, yeah.
because we fall down and we pick ourselves back up and life happens and um, we grow constantly and I'm constantly evolving. And through my own growing and evolvement, I'm so excited to share with others how I was able to do that.
Mm. The whole people pleasing thing is when you start to really unpack that and release the chains that bind you into that mentality, the mindset, the behaviors, is an absolute feeling of lightness and liberation, isn't it? And to be able to chart out that process for somebody else to go, right, these are the common traps. Like I've done the hard work for you. These are the common traps. These are the things that you need to avoid. These are the things that you point yourself towards. And now let's practice. Like that's incredible, isn't it? It just changes the world around you completely and your inner world, doesn't it?
Automatically, it
Yeah,
changes because you now have given yourself self worth.
right.
You start loving yourself, and then you see that the relationships around you start loving you because you love yourself. And so it's a natural through the laws of energy
Hmm.
that things self correct.
Yeah.
Your life self corrects.
Yeah. I've been thinking a lot about the law of resonance lately, and that kind of law of attraction, law of resonance, that kind of thing is what I was speaking to at the beginning about being a coach and how do you find the right coach for you. And feeling that kind of pull. And depending on where you're at and how you're feeling and what you're thinking about yourself depends on what kind of pull you're drawing into the people, places, and things towards you, isn't it? So when you really move out of that people pleaser dynamic, it's just it offers you possibility of really healthy relationships.
Yes.
Obviously, I come back to that lens each time, but yeah, it's so powerful to release that and to move through it and to learn from the lessons, isn't it? Is that how you found it as well?
Yes, absolutely. It's so empowering. And that's what makes us great coaches is
Mm.
through the experience. It's not something I read in a book. I didn't just take a course to become a life coach. My life coaching is interwoven with my life experiences
Mhm.
and that the resilience and that through it all, I stayed in my heart and I stayed in my truth.
What a gift. And hence why you call yourself authenticity, because that's what it gives, right?
Yes. Yes. And that's the number one coaching advice is authenticity, being authentic and true to yourself.
Mm. That I find that that's been such a journey, to getting to the point where I find myself now is being able to listen to myself instead of constantly outsource my thoughts, my opinions, all that kind of stuff. Um, to really connect into my essence, the inner being within me, and to learn to honor those messages has been an absolute journey. Like it's been challenging actually to make that difference between what's my fifth thoughts and what's my true thoughts, what's pulling me in my wounded self, what's pulling me towards my inner being self, and then learning to trust that one over that one. Yeah, that's when you really start to understand and work out how you've made that transition. That's what we as coaches do, right? We offer the how to the process of untangling, I often find. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, untangling, entanglement, and it's people don't realize how entangled they are with their relationships and codependency
Mm,
affects their lives, not
yeah,
only their home, their relationships with their partners and friendships, but their work life.
yeah. And cats. My cat's here with me, like animals, how you behave with your animal, how you behave with your kids, how you behave with your neighbor, even like how you behave with the person in the shop. Like it's all forming of this that initial dynamic of how am I with me and what does that relationship look like, right?
Absolutely. And that was one of the most important things when I decided that I wanted to become a coach, is that I wanted to walk the talk
Mm,
and that I had done all the things that I was going to coach people about.
mhm. What's your favorite thing to coach people about, Anna?
Self worth.
Mm. Oh, what a
Yeah.
gift.
Yeah.
What is it that really lights you up about that specific topic? It must mean something to you too, right?
It does, because I changed the when the self worth came, I fell in love with myself. I
Mm,
loved seeing who I saw in the mirror. Found myself very attractive. I found
mhm.
myself in love and like talking kind to myself.
Oh,
And so when I started seeing myself shift, I couldn't wait to share that with the world around
mhm.
me in my friendships. And I thought, oh my goodness, this I have a gold mine here. I've just learned that by loving myself and putting
Mm,
myself first and clearing the inner child and all the wounds was worth it to get to this place where now
mhm,
so in love with myself that automatically, Dawn, that I'm in love with the mundaneness of life,
mm.
the tiniest little thing.
Have you found any specific part of that self-love journey the most challenging? Like you just said about the inner child, which is something that I work with all of the time because it always seems to lead back to that point, right? Is there a specific part of your journey with self-worth that sticks, that's been super sticky?
Mhm. I would say being a parent.
Full stop.
Mhm. Yes, the adult part, because we want it, it comes with you believe that you've mastered the not needing outside approval,
Mm,
outside validation, or needing validation from others. But the trickiest part, here's a little tip for those listening, is the ones we love the most, the ones nearest, dearest to our heart, we want to have validation from.
yes.
And so we always come back to that. I come back to,
Yes.
why am I needing validation? Why is that still lingering? And so that was the
Mm.
challenging part for me. How about for you, Don? That
I
question
want
for
to laugh
you.
because, like, I think that's the crux of all of it, Anna. You know, um, I call that. and I think you just mentioned that, but to me, that's part of reparenting yourself, because we have a set of basic needs and desires that we desperately want from our original caregivers to give to us, which through no fault of their own, they're ill-equipped to give us specifically what we need in the way that we need it. So we learn that on some level, we take that to mean something negative about ourselves, right? Because what else are you going to do with it? You can't make it their fault until you're older.
Right.
So, so the reparenting of myself to validate myself and releasing the resentment that I didn't get what I needed from the people who I needed it the most from, and learning to give that to myself, boom, like that is 100% the key to all of this, and the stickiest part, because it's sneaky, Anna, isn't it? Like we are
So
coming up to the
sneaky.
so sneaky. We're coming up to the holidays, right? That's the sneakiest time of all.
Right.
You know, uh, down to what kind of present you get from your parents or your loved ones or whatever. Do they see me enough to give me the right present? Do they know me well enough? You know, like, oh God, it's a lot. All of that stuff can get very charged very quickly. So, in short, I would say I agree.
Yes,
Sure.
and birthdays. Birthdays,
Oh, birthdays, Anna. Oh, that's a good one. You are right.
yeah, birthdays are something, every birthday I've been disappointed.
I know, right?
And with
The
my growth, I got the disappointment meter went less and less.
mm,
So
same.
I'm looking
Yes.
forward to see how I react this year when you
I,
don't have that expectation or need the outer world to validate how wonderful you are.
oh, what I've learned through birthdays is to not be bitter about asking for what I'd really like from the people who actually do love me, and not make it like a really big deal, but I'll say, I would really love a cup of tea and some breakfast in bed, or for you and the other person to make me some breakfast, and then be happy with just that. Like if that's what I've asked for, like asking for what you need is already a thing anyway, especially for most women. And then to then ask your partner without the bitterness or the resentment or the judgment or whatever, that's growth right there, I think. So, you know,
Communication.
yes, yes, clear communication is so important. And if you do that with your partner or your kids or whatever, and they then, I like to think of it like an invitation. I would like you to do this for me. It's an invitation. How do you feel about it? And then 9 times out of 10, the people who love you, who really want to show up for you, are like, yes, oh, thank God you told me what you wanted. Now I can just get on with it. Oh my God, you know, and that's great. I love it.
Props to you. I love that. I'm going to try that actually.
Yeah,
I'm so
yeah.
excited to try it. Oh my God.
See, that's what I mean. And then if they don't and they say, that's okay. Like I've got stuff I can go and I mean, most of the time that doesn't happen because the people we surround ourselves with at this point genuinely care. They do because you care about you. So you attract people who also care about you. So it's just delightful.
It is very delightful. I have a great group of friends. My friend, beloved bestie Sarah is watching. I love her dearly. And, we're going to celebrate. My birthday lands on Thanksgiving here in the
Oh,
US. Every 7 years, it lands on
mhm.
that holiday. And so we're going to do a Friendsgiving.
Oh, that
Yeah.
is so lovely.
And to me, it means so much to me to be
Mm,
surrounded by people that are authentic in their own lives and authentic with you.
yeah, Oh, and exhale out. Like when we're so armored up all the time in our wounded self, we're, constantly armored up. It's exhausting. And so when you work with that armor to release it and to incorporate the wisdom and the experiences that you've learned from that and live without having to armor up in front of everybody that you're with, it is like a massive, like, regulation of your nervous system, like a calming down and an ease, right? It just feels a lot, uh, well, enjoyable. Feels enjoyable.
And going back to coaching, um, when I coach my client or have clients, the way in my method is guiding and assisting people to find their own answers.
Oh, yes. Self-sovereignty all the
Yeah.
way.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, there is nothing else.
Not telling them what to do, but to show them that they have their choices.
Yeah.
And through these conversations and coaching sessions is where using technique, people have these light bulb moments.
Mm,
They're like, oh,
yes. Epiphanies as well.
epiphanies.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
It shifts their perspective.
Yeah.
One of my recent client, she said, it isn't too late for me to change careers. I don't
Oh,
know why I
yes.
thought that.
Mm. Oh, I love those.
Right?
Permission epiphanies.
Yes. And
Mm.
to realize that at, at any age, at any time in our lives, we can make the choice to pivot and choose another
Mm.
direction. That's the beauty of free will. I mean, this is the beauty of being a human being on this planet
Mm.
and being sovereign, is that
Mm.
you get to choose. And then when you guide someone and assist them back to themselves and put them in the driver's seat, they go, I'm in control.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I was having the same conversation with a client this afternoon, actually, who suffers with a lot of fear. And what we explored was how to you work on the bits that you can control, like and the bits that create more confidence and feel stronger and feel resilient and give you security, rather than constantly looking outside of yourself for that never ending impossible task of looking for security where there isn't any,
Mhm.
like from somebody who tells you just the right amount that they love you to for you to feel secure, or from getting just the right amount of money in your bank to then you'll feel secure. Like it's just an illusion, all of that stuff. So to really come back to feeling that you can meet your own needs in not an isolated, hyper independent way, but in a honoring of your inner messages. Definitely. I think that's so important.
Yeah, and that's a topic that we're going to talk about on our next episode. And it's going to be giving you tips and ideas how to live a balanced life.
Mm.
And Dawn is going to cover balance in her relationships and how she coaches her clients in relationships to have balance. And mine will be a little bit more broad, but together we're going to create episodes that are going to be inviting you even deeper into your love affair with self.
I love that. I was going to ask you, Anna, are there any tools or methodologies that you use in your coaching that you love especially?
For me, it would be um, I have specific worksheets that go through their I will do it later list.
Ah, yes. Yeah.
That, a list of things that perhaps we all, like the junk drawer in our house,
Yes.
you know, the things that we put off that we
Mm,
don't realize
mm.
that
Like mental health.
mental health, clutter, and
Yeah.
then recognize the things that in our own lives that block us from moving forward because their energy is, that's
Mm,
my favorite one, is to show them that the physical items in our lives, I mean, we've all heard clutter, clean out the closet, clean the garage up, make space, let it feng
mm,
shui, things,
mm,
but that literally affect your mental state.
mm. Yes.
And so that tool really, I've observed that people have many aha and epiphanies about their own lives. And
Yes.
it is telling them that it doesn't have to be done all at once.
Yes. I call that the perfectionist virus, where you feel like you have to make everything perfect and immediately so that I can get a gold star. And then you can give me a gold star for being the perfect coaching student. And it doesn't work like that, does
It
it?
doesn't work like that. And to understand that these tools that I provide and Dawn provide are things that you will carry on after our sessions with
Hmm.
you on your daily lives.
Mm. Yes.
These reminders, that balance comes into self pace and ease and grace.
Yes.
And that
Definitely.
through our releasing some control, things somehow come into order.
Yeah, and even better than you'd anticipated or hoped or planned or worked through. Yeah, they have a natural, yeah, a natural level to them, don't they?
They do. How about you, Dawn? Do you have a specific thing in your relationship coaching that you feel you've witnessed over the years or recently that really calls to people?
There's a two main ones. I mean, I do things like somatic therapy and self EMDR, so I've got some of the tr more traditional things in there. But the two that I am really, really passionate about for long-term change is um, my partner and I created a future self meditation, which both he and I do every single morning together anyway, and we have done for almost a year. And the theory behind that is you only create from your known familiar past, right? So in order to create something new, which is what we're essentially asking us to do, the last thing to change in change generally, normally is mindset, the neural pathways they take. They
Sure.
want evidence. They need to take some time. They need some evidence in front of us that says, yes, that is definitely true. And so I'm going to change my neural pathways. So by moving into the imagined future, this is the work of Joe Dispenza.
Mhm.
Um, uh, yeah, and the other people. And you can spend some time when you first wake up in the imagined future so that you learn to really, truly feel
Mhm.
um like one of the people we know, Lauren, she talks about acting as if, right?
Yes.
But before you act as if, I want you to imagine it's already true. So
Mhm.
we're brainwashing ourselves in a wholly positive and truthful creator way so that it's not a stretch when you go start your day to go, oh no, I am this person. Oh no, I can do this. Oh no, wait, I might be able to do that thing that I really would like, or I do feel that way about myself. It's like Jim Carrey talks about when he manifests, or like he calls himself a master manifester. And the reason he does is because when he was broke and starting out in Hollywood, you probably know this story, Anna. He used to go to Mulholland Drive and sit at the top and stay there until he had fully felt and believed what he wanted to manifest for himself. And at that time, it was money and all sorts of things. But he would sit in that feeling until it was completely and utterly locked in. And then he'd go back and do the same again tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day. And what's wonderful about that is it bypasses the logic brain, that part that goes, well, is this actually feasible? Can we really do this? No, not helpful in this particular moment. So that's something that I really value and is an integral part of what I offer. And then the other one is aroma point therapy. I use essential oils and the consciousness of these oils along with acupuncture points to help mental, emotional, physical state change, emotional state change, and just support, like to help with sleep, to help with buoyancy, to help with abundance, to help with mood change, literally anything. And I have found in the most skeptic of skeptics that scent really speaks to a part of us that we cannot deny.
Yes, I agree with all that you have just spoken about, because as a coach, we use these modalities as well. You know,
Mhm.
I definitely, in part of our journey, we start our day with intent,
Mhm.
you know, right off the bat.
Yes, have to. Otherwise, what do you do? You're just floating off in your subconscious automatic programming. We're going to soon learn, I think, all of us unequivocally, just how that cannot happen if you want to really be actively responsible and actively involved in the creation of your own life, you know.
And that's really important. Those were some really big keywords there, Don. Actively participating in your life and
Mm,
not have it on autopilot, that you, at every moment, with every breath that you take, and your thoughts are dictating your reality.
yes.
And that's not just mumbo jumbo. These are proven. This is proven stuff.
Yeah.
And having a heart-based reality is our goal as coaches, that we have, that when we speak on our next episode about balance has to do with your state of being. And
Yeah.
where are is your heart, your mental, your spiritual body, your physical body, what we eat, all these things we're going to dive into in future episodes.
Can't wait.
I want to talk about some of the things that we've overcome. For me, I have overcome smoking,
Mm,
drinking,
mm.
um, self doubt.
Ooh, good one.
Yeah. And, you know, obviously not in all in those, you know, order, but
Mhm.
I'm not saying that these things are bad or good, or it's just that I've been able to conquer some of these things and still feel like I'm living an extremely healthy, fun, vibrant life. That those things, as some of us, I'm Portuguese, I'm European, alcohol and those kind of things are very prevalent in our lives. And it was just part of our culture.
Mm.
And so here in the United States, it's very much part of the culture here as well. And one of the things I'm noticing here in America is people are venturing into it not being cool to drink.
Mm.
And so, if that is something that people are looking to overcome, or maybe um, not have that in their lives, coaching can assist with that
For sure.
through
Mm.
our techniques and through our self worth, and understanding sometimes these addictions are from generational, ancestral and wounds. And when we start
Mm.
addressing these things, we find that we like who we are just fine when we're coming from a balanced state. I prefer myself
Mhm.
under any no influences of any kind of anything.
Yeah, same.
And it
Yeah,
was
well
there was
done.
yes, and there was a point where people you I needed, I would get off work, my my job as whatever I was doing at the time, and then having a glass of wine with dinner, or having something to take the edge off when you went and met friends with drinks.
Mhm.
And so
Mhm.
to be able to still enjoy all the things like that with a mocktail or tea or coffee or kava, it is fantastic life to not have the hangover
I
anymore.
can't do that. I get anxiety. I don't know about you, Anna. I can't, I just like, I get so much anxiety now from drinking alcohol, even within an hour or so. So it's just, I have to avoid it anyway. So yeah, I'm on board. No hangovers, thank you.
Yes, yes. And so it's fun to see the collective shifting around that here in the United States. It's especially among the younger people in their 20s and 30s are moving away from uh, alcohol being the center of their engagement,
Mm,
which is kind of
mm,
exciting to see where this world is moving to.
for
And
sure.
people are focused on their health and their mental state. And we have a lot more information available to us now, more
Mm,
than ever.
good. Good.
I'm so glad that you joined me today. I know that you just created or just went live with your new creation, Roots.
Yeah.
And I know you're super glowing about this and the
Yeah.
anticipation. How's that unfolding for you? How'd it go yesterday?
Oh,
Wasn't
really? It's just, there's something truly special about bringing together people who go on a mental, emotional, spiritual journey together over a period of time, who learn so many skills apart from, even outside of the stuff that I'm offering, connection, communication, understanding, support, what a safe space feels like, um, just to feel like you're not on your own, to feel no longer isolated. Like it is in every essence the my inner being directing my experience. And so each time that I offer something like this, it feels like my heart just grew 3 times bigger, you know? Um, so it's just uh deeply, deeply, deeply fulfilling for me on every level. And I love it. I don't know what else to say. It went so well, Anna. And yeah, more, yeah, so, so good.
I'm so grateful to hear that. It does bring me a lot of joy to assist others as well and to interact. I grow with them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And often I find that if I get called or feel really called to put on a certain topic or something, that's my inner being asking me to grow before I can even put that out. Like the whole process of creating it and launching it and connecting with people in of itself is a growth process always for me. Um, so it's just, and I'm absolutely delighted by my own growth. Like I love it. I really enjoy it now these days. Um, so it feels great.
It comes with a self confidence, all this self worth. You have self confidence, self love,
Mm,
all. Yeah, I can go down the list of all the things that I am. The fear is gone.
mm,
I can walk with my head held high.
mm.
I can
That's
see the
fabulous.
illusion, you know,
Mm,
of some of the misguidance, maybe perhaps I've had over the years, and not by anyone's fault, but just the way that we were taught and
Yeah.
didn't know any better, and everyone was doing the best that they could.
Yeah.
And so I really look forward, and I invite everyone to check out my website. I would leave the link in the comments today. I do spiritual mentoring and guided meditation, and I work with sacred geometry, and I do different modalities in that area as well, besides my life coaching. But I invite you all to open your heart and your minds and watch us the next 3 episodes as we dive deep into what coaching is about. Anything you want to have any last remarks, Dawn?
Um, just make sure there's at least one person holding the truth of the possibility within you in your life. What I mean is who believes the absolute best of you and that is possible. Make sure you've at least got that one person because they're life-changing. They're
Like
life-changing.
having someone in your life that believes in you or
Yeah.
believes in what you're um,
Unequivocally believes in
mhm.
you in every way, whether that's a coach, like that's part of the role sometimes that I have for people, or whether it's a person, like a close friend or something, but be very mindful of the main voice that's outside of you, that's speaking to you, that holds you highly in their regard.
Oh. And
Well,
it
what about you,
sounds like
Anna?
you have, it sounds like you have someone in your life that is reflecting that back to you.
Oh, I'm very lucky, and it's not just one person. I have a few, and I'm eternally grateful to them. I mean, my partner, who's testament to everything that I've talked about, he's absolutely fantastic. And I mean that with every fiber of my being. And not just because he can hear me.
And you guys have some really good fun times together. You guys, I'm going to let you guys on a little secret, but Dawn does some fun stuff with her partner. They play Dungeons and Dragons, I think it's called, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And
We
get
do all
dressed up
sorts
in
of things. Yeah.
costumes, right? It's so, if people are listening and that's your jam, Dawn and her partner or someone that you want to contact, especially if you live where you live,
Hmm.
and you guys put on retreats and have all kinds of
Mm.
fun.
We do. We're just playing. We're having fun. It's good.
Life
Yeah.
is what we make it. I know that's so cliche, but really, if you're having finding every day something that makes you light up,
Mm.
no matter how small or how big.
Yes, I agree.
Thanks for joining me on this first episode and collaboration with
My
Dawn and
pleasure.
I, everyone who's listening. We're going to catch you next week. It will probably be around the same time. If it's not, I'll post about it and let everyone know. I love you all. Look forward to seeing you. Dawn, leave your info in the comment sections. Well, if you're listening, share this because of the algorithms. Um,
Hmm.
we don't get a like or a share. It really doesn't go out as much as I'd like it to. The whole point
Yes.
about coaching and our business is based on referral.
Yeah.
And so pass it on, pass the love on. I love you all.
Yeah.
Take care. Till next time.
Thank you.
Bye, my dear. Happy Halloween, everybody.